Hello and welcome to another Slatesource recap. It's been a while, I know, but I come with lots of good news. First off, if you missed it, we released the alpha and things are moving much faster. If you are a creator, keep watching as this new platform is made specifically for you. After our successful prototype trial, we officially grew to the alpha stage of Slatesource. We created a strong foundation that now allows us to easily build on top of it. There is way too much to go over all the changes, but here's the highlight of what's been done since the last recap. Total UI redesign, Google logins, achievements, a new tab lab with new tabs, user feed, recently viewed slates, top leaderboards, user labels, themes, tab logs, managing tabs as slates with tabs, built-in support for structured data, preview images, and of course, general improvements. Let's talk about slates. And for this part, instead of me going over all the new slates I've created or all the templates I've thought of to cover use cases, let's just create a new user and kind of discover the platform together and create some slates. So just sit back, relax, and let's get started. Here we are in the new Slatesource homepage. As you can see, the design is quite different. We have this frame that now wraps the screen and has some key details. For example, here we have just the name of the platform. And in the header, we have the main categories. We'll see later how it looks. For now, let's just focus in the content, and that is the Slatesource slate. That's the first slate ever created, and I want to show users how Slatesource can be used to create slate about businesses or projects or anything. And in that case, it's Slatesource. So Slatesource has a slate. To show a bit the overview, you can see the design is pretty much the same. We still have the slate banner, we have the tabs on the left. The one thing that changed is the header. Before we didn't have authors, but I wanted to give credits where credit is due. So now you would have the name of the slate directly followed by who created it. Then you have some user information and the category the slate is in. And of course on the top right you have the views, the likes, and when it was created. Then below you have all the interactions you can do with that slate. Since we're not logged in and we didn't create that slate, we just have the option to share that slate. And you can see we generate a preview image that you can download or share in different social medias. Now let's go back to the slate. One thing that's the same is the left column where you have the banner and the tabs. So we'll go later on through each new tab one by one to show you what's available now, but I want to first show you how we manage slate on Slatesource. And this is something that anyone can do because we're using the tools that we provide. So let's just get into the Slatesource tab, slates. This slate is an overview of the tabs available on Slatesource, and it uses the overview tab and the playlist tab. So the overview is just some mention, some combination, but the important bit is this part where we list all the available tabs as slates through their categories. So we have the content tabs, we have tabs for productivity, for data, or for organization. Each tab is represented as a slate. For example, if we go to the overview slate, we get a presentation on that tab. It's just the text that shows the core feature, how it looks like, the use cases. Then we also have a tab for inspiration. This is if you want to get inspired on how can you use that tab to bring the best out of a slate, or if you're interested in templates that you can clone for yourself and then use. And we have the roadmap that shows the feature that we released and the ones that we plan to do. So now let's just get into it and register with our own user. So you can choose whether to log in with Google or register with Google or with a username and email. For now, we'll just use a username and email for testing. Then you have your account and you get redirected to your user profile. So you can see the design is very similar. I want to keep things familiar and not change too much. So for the user profile, just like the slates, you have the tabs on the left. You have an overview of yourself. We have interests. So for now, we don't have any interest because they are computed through slates that you create. We don't have any slates, so we don't have any interests. And then those tabs are empty in the beginning because we don't have slates, we don't have any notifications, but we do have achievements. And this is to help users get tasks or achievements to do so that they get more familiar with the platform without being overwhelmed with the amount of features that can be worked with at once. So how the achievement works is you have packs, and a pack is all the squares that are before a gift. So all the squares represents a pack. You also have the title here, for example, getting started. And this pack, once all completed, you will get the gift. So here we have 4 achievements. If we make them, we get the gift. So for now, we'll just leave that aside, and we'll come back later on to see if we can manage to get any gifts. Customization wise, for the user profile, you can change your username and your image, your banner. This is also your profile picture. If you go to the edit in the user options, you can here edit your profile. Something that's new is user label. So user label is something that's going to show up whenever someone hovers on your username. For now we have early labels, rookie, learner, starter, but later on as you complete achievements you can unlock more labels. Let's just change the banner to match my profile real quick. There we go, much better. And now we can save. And we have our new user profile. Now if we go back home, you'll notice that we have a feed and our feed is empty. This is to show you all the activity that's either been done by you or by the slates that you follow. So you can follow slates or create slates and all the activity will show up in your feed. And this feed is only visible to you. For now, let's just explore popular slates and see if we can find any that we can follow. Now, as I've mentioned before, we also changed the design of the catalog page. Now for each category, you will have an overview like this, where you have how many slates are in that category, how many subcategories, which are also displayed here at the top. You have all those subcategories, which by the way are not managed by anyone. They are evolving as slates are created. For that category, there's a lot, because that's a category that I like to create slates in. So there's a lot of slates, and the more slates there are, the more subcategories there will be. And this kind of allows the platform to grow with the slates. So aside from that, you also have the popular slates, which is just a mix between how many views they have and how many likes. And you also have the new slates and the top leaderboard. So this showcases the users that create a lot of slates or have popular slates in that category. For now, if you're looking for a slate to follow, let's say you look at this portfolio, this is my portfolio, and if you want to get an update for any activity that I'm doing on this slate, you can easily follow it and it will show up in your feed whenever I make a change. For example, here I have a list of all my projects. If you want to get an update, if I create a new project, you will follow the slate and get the updates. So if we go back to the feed here, you will see all the updates that I did on that slate. For example, when I created the description and things like that. Now we've engaged a bit with the platform. Let's just take a look at our achievements, see if we made any progress. And yes, as you can see, we've already completed one achievement to follow a slate, and this is on the Community Builder pack. If we complete that pack, we will get a new user label, Community Starter. You can also see, I'm not sure if the recording will show, but this one is a bit more blue, because if you make progress in an achievement, it will gradually go to a full blue. Now it's blue grayish because I've only had 1 out of 10. But let's just forget about this and get down to the real fun part of Slatesource, which is creating slates. So if you go to your slates tab in your user profile, you'll see that you don't have any slates. The tab is empty. So what we can do is create a slate. So when you want to create a slate, either you know what you want to create it for, or you want to get inspired and get some random topic. So if you know what you want to do, you can just type here what you want and your slate will be created. Otherwise, for now, we'll just try to get inspired. Let's see what we get. If I want to create a slate in the nature and environment category, I can just tap the nature button and it will generate the slate, put it in the correct category, and there it is. We have our slate. So design wise, you can already see we have the title of the slate on the top left, created by our new account. You can see the label, the user label shows up. We're a rookie, but we'll change that later on. And in the Tigers subcategory, you can see all new created slates are private. You can publish them afterwards once you're ready. The main thing you see when you start a new slate is you have to choose which tab you want to put in. You can see here we have 2 slots to add 2 tabs, and each one can be whatever tabs we want from our tab lab, which is a place where you can select which tab you want for your slate. And you have the different categories: the content, productivity, community, organization, collaboration, commerce, and so on. There is only a few tabs available, but it gives an idea also how flexible and how powerful the platform can be. As we grow, we can add more tabs, which are relevant and useful for many different use cases. For now, let's just add the overview, which is the most popular tab, and it allows to create a nice overview of your slate. So now there's 2 ways you can create content. You can either do it manually, or you can generate it with AI. For the sake of saving time, I'm just going to showcase the tabs using the generate button. So you added your tab to your slate, and let's just generate the content, and it's going to give you an example of what the content you could put in your slate. Kind of kickstarts you into the creation process. Then you can make edits, you can add different types of content. You have headers, code, image, or a slate. You kind of get the idea. It's a simple overview. Then once you're done, you can save, and there it is. This is where you can also get creative and kind of display your slates, your information in different ways. You can also use slates to go inside a topic, more in depth, and so on. You can really get creative with the tools that are already available now. We can go now and add another tab. You can click on the plus button in the slot below, and let's just go through them one by one. It will be quick just to show you what's available. If we go to the links, this is very simple. It's just a list of resources. If you have external sources or mentions you want to add here, you can add links. Something I didn't mention is this information button allows you to configure your tab with extra customization. For free accounts, you can only make it public or private. So yes, a tab can be private within a slate so that it's not available to the public, but the slate can be public. Another thing you have access to is the logs. So whenever something happens, all the activity that happens within a tab are logged in raw text with a timestamp. So for now, I'll just remove the tab and move on to the next one, which is the timeline. Timeline is a list of events that are in chronological order. And if I generate here, you can see you can select the date. You have different date formats. You can also add some more content. And this can be used if you want to showcase a timeline of an event or multiple events. If you want to show how your project was built, what kind of future is planned, anything, it's a timeline you can choose. Next, let's just remove this tab. And we will go to the playlist. This is also very simple. You can just create a playlist, add a title, and then you can add slates within that playlist. So only public slates or private if they're private for you. And all the slates that you add can be added here. And then you can directly reference them, just like I did for my portfolio. I just added all the projects as slates. Moving on to the next one. In the productivity category, productivity tabs are used to help you manage a project or have a quick to-do list. Here, for example, we have tasks. It's very simple. You have tasks with a title and description, and you can just tick, tick, tick. You get the point. Then in the productivity category, we still have the agent tab, which is a bit special. For now, it's in testing, so it's only for pro users, but it basically allows you to create an AI agent that has your own customizable characteristics and knowledge. So you can give him some personality traits and some extra knowledge that only you could know that are not known by LLMs in general, so that you can, for example, have an agent that can talk to your customers about your product, or if you want to create an agent that is supposed to answer questions about any topics that only you know, then you can use that. And then we have notes. This is also very simple. You can create some notes with title and lots of description. This can be used if you want to just have raw text notes for brainstorming or anything, just put things down and then put them in a prettier way later on. And that's already it for the productivity tab. Now we have some more left. One is the roadmap for organizations. If you want to create a bit like the timeline, but with roadmap items. So if you have a product that has different stages before being launched, you can use this. You can use it also for timelines. You can also link slates directly in that roadmap. You can see roadmap have a status, for example, in progress or cancelled. And let's say this one is done. And that state will be shown in the roadmap. And last but not least is the analytics. This is very simple. It just shows how many users have seen your slates over time. And there we go. We already went through all the tabs. Now let's get back to our achievements, see if we unlocked anything. Ooh, close. So we're missing, we have to customize our slate banner to unlock this gift. So let me just change the banner now. So what you do, you can go to the slate options to edit your slate. And first we will make it public and change the banner. Done. As you can see also on the right, you can also change the type of slate you want to promote it as. For example, if it's an organization, if it's music, if it's a course. For now, we'll just leave it as an article. But you can add this extra layer to have structured data so that browsers or social medias can kind of know better what your slate is about. So once we save, we will have our public slate. You can see on the top right, it's public now. And we change the banner. So we should have now completed the getting started pack, and we did. So now we unlocked a new user label, the creator label. So if we go to the user settings, we can now select the creator label and save, and people will know us as the creator. You can see here the new label is displayed, and that kind of labels ourselves as creators. And that sums up this demo. Thank you so much for sticking around. Let's move on to the next topic. Finally, for the community, I don't know if you remember, but I had this bump counter that I put in place to stop myself from creating features and focus on marketing. Well, that didn't last very long, and I'm sure you can guess from all the new features what ended up happening. I think for now I need to find the right balance between marketing and finding valuable places where I can share Slatesource, and also bringing new features to keep the platform growing. So for now, I'll just try to find that balance. I'll keep publishing new videos. Make sure you follow, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you want to be part of this project. We're already at the end of this recap. I hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next one.